Meeting to order. We have a request for we can vote on that first before we get going. We need to do a roll vote. I should know.
What about the reason, is it medical or personal?
All right, so I move that Director McCall be allowed to participate under the participation policy for medical reason. Your second, call the roll.
Director Long.
Aye.
Sharif.
Aye.
Director McCall.
Yes.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously, he should be brought in.
All right. Matters from the public? None. Anyone here seeking to be recognized? We have a member of the Board of Supervisors.
You can see me. My name is Beetle Pistol Curley, and I'm.
Thanks for joining.
I'm Diane's colleague. She lets me carry her purse.
You are too funny. So,
I could remind everybody to project up into the mic. We're having a little trouble on the. remote.
okay. All right. Considers, do we need to rearrange our schedule here?
So we, the election of officers then rearranged, but I'd like to just validate the direct on because I think we had issues last time. Steve, can you hear us okay?
I hear you just fine. Thank you.
So I'm
Directly
seeing-
Lawless is up there. Does he need to?
Yeah, he's
So mad.
remote. You see, I. See. Approval for him to participate remotely.
I beg your pardon. Did the previous motion cover both of us?
No, it did not, because I didn't know it was up there. Sorry.
Again, I mean, so the question would be, without details at this point.
Yeah, and I don't, is it medical or personal?
Personal.
He does, I mean, when it's personal, he has to give a reason.
Scottsville Town Council is meeting immediately after this and I can't return.
That's enough.
That's all right. There we go. All right. So I make a motion that Director Lawless be allowed to attend virtually. For business reasons. All right, all
Director Long,
aye.
Director Ray.
Aye.
Director Austin,
Aye.
Director Matola. Aye. Director Moore. Passes unanimously.
Okay, that's from the public approval of the minutes from the last meeting where they comments. Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the minutes? All right, second. There we go. All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Financial report. Do we have a new financial report this time, or it's?
Through 10/20, October, FY 23 October.
Okay, do you want to come back? to
Let's
that?
come back to this review.
Okay. All right, so let's financial report, then we will move into the annual meeting of officer. Election officers. All of the current members are willing to continue to serve in their capacity. Nobody else has been to the chair about seeking to serve in any of the officer roles. Does anyone wish to speak up now? Would eager to serve as one of the officers?
Could you list the current officers for benefits?
Sure. The current are. I am the chair, you were the vice chair. Mr. Shreve is the treasurer. And Mr. Johnson, correct?
He's the assistant secretary, Eve is the treasurer secretary.
Oh,
He
secretary.
has
All right.
double role.
Okay. There we- All right. Not hearing anyone seeking. I'm going that those officers be reelected for a term of another year. Why don't we? So I will chair. Mr. Ray will serve as vice chair. Mr. Shreve will serve as secretary. Mr. Johnson will serve as assistant secretary. Is there a second to that motion? Second. All right. Should we call the roll on that one?
Yes, sir. John, Ray, Reed,
Aye.
Director McNaughton,
Aye.
Director Matola. Aye. Director Lawless
Aye.
and Director Morrow.
All right, thank you. So,
The only reason I serve is because this is the only place where I get called sir.
so the new business. So I think the scheduling, we're gonna move item C up item in front of item A, is that correct? So do you wanna take over?
I will. As you may recall, the governor recently came out with a note about the Virginia jobs investment plan, because it's commonly, and the award going to a company called PS Fertility. JT is going to take you through the process of who PS Fertility is, and I believe we have a representative present as well.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick introduction before we receive Kevin Combs. PS Fertility is an innovative life science company that has a novel diagnostic test for sperm. And they'll be leasing space at Avamore. In that space of the self-storage building that is fully vertical now, and shipping out DOS and even one day the world, and they'll receive those tests back and perform analysis and share that with fertility clinics. And we're very excited about their announcement from the governor. Over the next 3 years, they've committed to 31 jobs, 31 labs to build out that lab space. I think one note is the county has adopted a VGIP match policy, and this company meets all the criteria to have a full match of the grant from the state. So in addition to the $800 per job that the state will be providing for each new job created, the county through the EDA, if their agreement is approved, will also match that grant. And so that is the action that we're asking the EDA to consider today is that VGIP match agreement, which was included in your materials for the meeting today. But before considering that, I'd like to turn the floor over to Kevin Combs, the CEO of PS Fertility, if there's anything more he'd like to add or correct from that introduction.
No, thank you very much. It's Kevin. I'm on my cell. I apologize. I had to do some banking today, and I just got it completed. I was hoping to be at home. So can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I just wanted to thank you and the Albemarle County EDA. I know we met with you folks a few times early on in the process, and you've been very helpful. The state's been very helpful. Governor Youngkin has been very kind in terms of putting out a press release. I guess it was last Wednesday about the new facility and the new company. Again, not many specifics on the company. Just quickly, it's going to be a diagnostic testing company for male fertility. There are two PhD doctors out of the University of Virginia that discovered some new fertility science around male sperm. And there are two diagnostic type tests that the company will start with in our facility there on Fifth Street across from the county, office building there. And we're in the end cap of 3030 Vision Lane. I think we have 4,000 square feet there, which will be predominantly CLIA lab space. So this is relatively a big deal in a sense. And I know the university and the county, I don't know how that works, that city county in terms of all that geography, but I know they have some exciting announcements coming soon. But I think this plays right into it, as Governor Youngkin mentioned. And I have another conversation with him on the 25th. Everyone's really excited. Was really happy to be able to keep this company in our geographic county. I lived here. I've raised my 4 children, and we've attended county schools. My daughter teaches in the county school. So I just want to thank you all. And I'm just excited to be able to be here and create this kind of economic stimulus. I'll answer any questions if it'll help.
Yeah, any?
Yes.
I'm just curious about, inform our future decisions about allocate the reason on the board. How would this can change or invest, or the scale which you're investing? I'm just interested in how money specifically change your way of thinking about the expansion.
So it was a little broken, but I'm going to repeat it and then tell me if I'm wrong. How will these dollars from the state and the county help with expansion? Was that the question?
Or region expand, or to go into a new facility. Part of it, our grant, and with the state's map.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've got it. Again, my phone's a little broken. I'm hoping you guys can hear me okay. Basically, I mean, these grants are incredibly valuable because we are going to want to add lab personnel. The University of Virginia is a very fertile ground for students coming out that would have the skill sets we need. So this ability to have these matching grants gives us, the ability as a company to be more competitive and keeping these folks here in Albemarle County in roles. Candidly, I mean, we're going to try to pay these folks at a higher price point than they would get in other markets, and keep them here in Albemarle County. Again, we do have our top candidate for our lab right now is an individual that lives in New Jersey at this point. So she would be relocating with her family to Albemarle County. And then we have 3 candidates that are at the University of Virginia right now that are more junior, but they would, in essence, be leaving University of Virginia and then staying in the Albemarle County area. So these funds will actually help us pay at a higher price point, and what we think is retain talent in the area.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we may have lost.
No, I mean, I'm still here. It's
There we
just
go.
very broken. Certain times the speech is
Yeah.
a little broken.
All right, well, thanks, Kevin.
Okay. Thank you all. Appreciate your consideration. Thank you very much.
So, next on the, so we'll jump to the staff. Oh, resolution, sorry.
Mr. President, I will move approval of the grant match agreement
All right. And the,
with PS distributed by the staff.
That would include approval of the resolution.
yeah, approval of the.
Yes.
Is it too late for me? I'm sorry to ask one more
We did
question.
research.
It's just about, I'm interested what pot our matching is coming from. Dave's question.
Yeah, the EDA BJIP matches come out of the Economic Opportunity Fund, which is pushed into the EDA. So it's not using your own bond revenues or other revenues that you generate in from governments.
Is that the supervisors allot that to the EDA?
It is the supervisors of funds back in 2018, the funding carried some of that over in following years. County received ARPA funding about 2 years ago. Was they used funds for paying police overtime and other overtime, and that allowed to offset other costs in our year-end savings. And so the year-end savings replenished Economic Opportunity Fund. So in some of it's a combination of both local revenues from 4 or 5 years ago, and most recently ARPA funds that were replenished and used from the federal.
And it's categorized as pass-through financials.
That's right. So there's you've got an appropriation now, but once you spend the current appropriation, we're gonna replenish those funds in the future expenditures associated.
Sorry.
Oh, no, that's all right. It's a, yeah.
Good question.
All right, so.
You know, there may be people watching, American Rescue Plan funds is what ARPA stands for.
I move the adopt the resolution of the proposed agreement with PS Fertility Inc. and authorize the chair and the secretary treasurer the agreement on behalf of the EDA once it has been approved as to content and form by the county attorney and executed by PS Fertility Inc.
All right, is there-
Second.
all right. Any further questions or discussion? All right. Do we need to call the roll on that one?
We can do that.
All right,
Let's see, Director Long,
aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Director McNaughton,
Aye.
Director Matola. Director Law,
Aye.
Director Morrow.
All right. Resolution is approved. Thanks, everyone.
You want on this, I want to add that as a former OBGYN nurse, I've been following this very closely in the paper and find this exciting one. Just a comment.
Well, just on the, I don't represent Kevin, so. But I have seen him talk at many of the Charlottesville Angel Network meetings, and this is his area. He knows what he's doing, knows what he's talking about at any time. So it's great that he's involved and that they're succeeding.
I just had to add that. But I wanted you to vote.
All right, so back to the agenda now. Now to the staff report.
Yes, we have 3 I wanted to discuss with the board, and I'll take the first one. You may be aware that the state formed a committee at the state level to celebrate the semi-quincentennial birthday of the United States, 250 years of existing. They also authorize local areas or communities to have their own subcommittees, and they're called the Virginia 250 Subcommittee. Our community, through the Board of Supervisors and the City Council of Charlottesville, anointed according to CACVB to be the governing entity represented to represent our community collectively. Both the board and the council have already approved this by way. What this does is establish a committee that can receive funding from the state in order to carry out certain plans for our community and or, expenses associated with planning events. In fact, there are some grants just re-announced that this committee can receive. It also serves as the convening body for, if it has an interest in participating, you can go to VA 250, that's 250.org, VA 250.org. I'll be entertaining questions.
Questions about Virginia's semi-centennial? I don't know why they don't want to use that instead of 250.
It's 26, not 29, so it's Declaration of Independence rather than the Constitution.
Yeah, it's 226.
All right, item.
Yeah, we're making some minor adjustments to the thank you, settings, get back to the slide. The item was an update on the APHID application, the EDA endorsed earlier or late last year, and this past 30 days between the last meeting was the time of governor's announcement. So this was another governor's announcement awarding 24,000 turkeys. The EDA is matching that, and the total investment for this will actually be a little bit more than $48,000. It will probably be around $55,000 between the time of the application grant and the actual purchase order by the company. Inflation continued to increase, and so this grant, as a reminder, will allow turkeys to sell ground turkey throughout the other regions of the state instead of just birds at Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so that was part of a new APHID infrastructure grant. We've had many other companies in the community reach out for the next round. And so there will likely be a competitive process that will come back to the EDA and share. These are some of the agribusinesses in our community that are interested in the next round. And we'll need your help figuring out what the most eligible and best project to put with it. But we're really excited for Kelly Turkeys to receive that.
This is for machinery, capital
And this is,
expenditure.
yeah, yep. All the equipment necessary to grind, produce a ground turkey product.
How long did that take from the beginning? I'm just curious how long it takes when they, from the application, getting a check in the mail from.
Yeah.
Is that a year? 18 months?
This is our first time going through this. So, I don't know sure. My expectation is that the process began with the site visit. Megan Gray and I visited the site to Judd Culver, the applicant, about what he wants to do.
Do you remember when that was?
That was in August or September, and the grant timeline, the applications opened October 1st and closed November 15th, and then we heard the amendment in early January. Once the performance is executed, a tranche of the grant will be provided to him, and then once certain milestones are met and documentation is provided, the last 25% will be distributed to him. So I expect it will probably be a few months from now before a check will arrive. Once
From the application, what percentage of the capital expenditure this grant represents?
Yeah, the total grant's 4,000. Expect all the equipment will be somewhere around 55, 60,000.
100% cap. Yes,
So,
that's the infrastructure, not the aid.
And we don't, but this is their first correct,
that's right.
so they have to buy the equipment first and then we pay them back.
That's right.
Not enough for.
Performance based.
The reason that's for that, I mean, this, coming out of Massachusetts for many years, and you go apply for over 40 grand or something, $5,000, $10, and
Took 2 years.
oh gosh, and you'd have to submit a quarter inch of paperwork, and it's like, and you'd have to, certificates of good standing that you had paid your tax and all. I get it, but the red tape was intimidating to the point where some Luis kids with. So in the back of my mind, I was just running, how do we make this easy for people? They make a phone call and move on, in the expediting in particular.
I'm glad you said that, Director Morrow, because the Small Business Development Center, which is right across here, they came along to the site visit with us and were instrumental in helping the business owner complete the paperwork. This particular application was probably 3 or 4 pages, 8 or 10 questions. As the competition increases, it can be harder and harder to get these grants, but for this round, it happened to be November 15th, and thanks about a week later. So I mean, he was just as slammed as he could possibly be. Within worst timing, he got it across the line. Yeah. Any other questions about one?
I want to introduce this because I know JT is a very humble person and he's not going to take it for the work that happened. But much like explained Director Morrow, it was almost 2 years ago that we started this VBRSP grant application for the University of Virginia Station in North Fork. The county was told we would not be eligible for a grant. It wasn't of this scale that I had to get into. And we had a debriefing to determine how we could be competitive. And that process spread us working directly with the foundation and UVA, getting them to change the stance on lease-only options to locate in the park. The biggest factor that we wanted to hear was the site selection consultant said, you're eliminating about half your potential clients by limiting it to lease only, buy a property and own it themselves. And same thing, if a developer, they often want to buy the property too. So we're going to need the foundation to move off in the university because we won't sell land in the park idea. And then, so in order to make that happen, that was not JT alone, it was Doug, it was, there were other people involved working directly with the foundation and UVA to help move them through the process of saying, hey, we're asking you to change your strategy, which ultimately, and so I guess it'll pick up about a year later, they've agreed to sell property, which is a unique proposition for them. But that didn't happen without JT's effort front and 2 years of commitment to this grant that he's going to talk about. So, and for that, I thank you, JT.
Yeah, I think in the headline is the state awarded a $3 million grant to the foundation to
To the county.
To the county.
Yeah.
To the county. To benefit the foundation.
31
acres within the North Fork Discovery Park. And so Roger and I have responded to innumerable businesses that are interested in locating there, and the uncertainty with the timeline of development and other regulatory hurdles has always been eliminated that site from contention. And so we're really excited that we could partner with the state to leverage investment that the foundation had made into the park to pull down these state funds and increase the readiness of the site probably by 12 to 18 months. So we're excited to take all the next steps to make it happen. This $3 million will cover pre-development work as well as clearing and grading. So as those RFIs, as those companies express interest in this area, and we go and we do a site visit with them, they'll be able to visualize what their new home could look like. So this is something that many businesses in our community deal with, a lack of ready sites. And so this is just one but this is an important step forward. And I was looking at the folks that received grants last year versus this year. Half of the recipients last year got significant grants this year. And so the total, you may recall, the total ask that we were originally looking for 2 years ago was in the $6 to $7.5 million range. This $3 million is nothing to sneeze at, but there's still more needed for us to complete everything that we want to do. So I'm hopeful that the continued investment by the state and the awards that they're continuing to make to projects as they continue to go through that tier process will continue here as well. The only other thing I think that's important to say about the VBRSP program is the legislative priorities of the Board of Supervisors was to reduce the minimum number of acres needed to qualify for that program. Senator Deeds has submitted that into the General Assembly. It's in committee right now. That would open up the door for some additional opportunities in our county. Again, it's not going to solve all of our issues by any stretch, but it's this is an important step forward, and we're excited to work with the foundation. And I hope that we have more good news to share with the EDA in the future.
JT, could you speak to two things? One, what was the governor's appropriation in his budget as it relates to the approximately how much more money was he recommending go into the VBRSP? And then secondly, will the EDA be involved, or we not in that agreement as of yet, or do we know?
It's tough to say. I don't, was it 250 million he wanted to put? 350 million he wanted to put into the VBRSP program going forward. That number can be to interpret. Governor Norton 155 million into this program. Only 90 was distributed this round. So Governor Youngkin's made a strong commitment, but we won't know until next year how much money is available. And the EDA will be a part of it. We expect the EDA will have a role in implementing this initial $3 million as it goes forward. We're working to develop those performance agreements, and we'll bring them back to the EDA as soon as they're ready.
I think having a site-ready piece of land takes an incredible amount of time off the approval process. Having developed real estate in this area for quite a while, people want what they want. They want it now. What's the zoning on this particular piece of land?
Yeah, this is the economic development portion of North Fork. This is 256 acres that's been characterized as Tier 4, but it's industrially zoned. So it's planned development industrial park is the specific industrial zoning. There's a rezoning under review for the entire park that would update and modernize some of the titles and things of uses within the park. But planned development industrial park is what the 562 acres.
So an applicant could go straight to the site plan process.
Yes.
That takes a year and a half process. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was the goal.
But thank you for sharing that. Congratulations to the staff. This award announcement from the governors was also interesting to me for how the sites were spread around the state. And I think it's worth kudos all through the region. The way I tally these up with Albemarle, Stanton, Waynesboro, and Louisa, more or less as neighbors on a segment of 64, that region earned more of this funding than any other part of the state. More than Richmond, more than Southside, more than Hampton Roads, or Northern Virginia. And that's not usually how these award categories break down. So I think our whole region has made great strides, and I think that helps Albemarle focus on the set of the priorities that we want to focus on, knowing that our neighbors east and west are also doing their part.
Absolutely.
Great, that's exciting news. All right, anything else on this staff report?
So
Okay.
that concludes our report.
So the next item on the agenda is the Lewis and Clark Exploratory Center update. I have been meeting with folks from the Lewis and Clark Center. I think we're getting close to getting the note and the loan resolved, but we aren't quite there yet. I hope we would be able to vote on it today, but we're not quite there yet. We've got a little more work to do, but they've been very cooperative. They have made a $5,000 payment on the loan, which is, I think shows that they're serious about getting this done. So hopefully by next month, I'll have another update and we'll be able to wrap this up.
Remind us what the principal was again.
About
125.
Yeah, around 125. So
They had been submitting $100 per month as good faith for, I guess, about 5 or 6 months now.
yes,
This was the first payment that was in excess of that.
so that's all I've got on that. Is there any unfinished business? There isn't any on the agenda. Other matters? Anything that any director wants to bring up?
Would you like the financial?
Oh, financial report. I even circled it to say we were coming back to it. Thank you. We should think about new
make sure we have
leadership
some.
here who pays
Yeah.
attention to the agenda.
And we do, we have some money, so that's the key here. This is through 10/31/22. And essentially, what we're looking at for the current fiscal year up to that point, expenditures of $955,092.25, a much smaller revenue total of $16,883.26. Beginning cash was $976,369. So with a net cash change of negative $40,605.99 after considering pass-through activity, our ending cash and cash equivalent balance is $872,868.05. I could remind you also that of the pass-through activity, totaling $901,208, $900,000 of that is related to the Southwood performance agreement. So that's the bulk of it.
How's that project going? I was out there
It's going very well.
3 months ago.
It's been a few weeks since I've been out there. I heard at least today that it's really changed a lot, just since November. So I need to get back out there for my eyeballs on it.
Went to ride down.
Yeah. They got their phase 2 rezoning, as y'all may know.
I can see it from my house, so I can watch each house go.
Well, then Jeff, you need to tell us how it's going.
That's
so.
right. You can give us an update.
Right, I'm exaggerating only slightly. I can't believe it's like a whack-a-mole thing. They just keep popping. They're building, I mean, I've never seen houses go.
That's
up
why I
so
can't get a
fast.
carpenter over in
No.
Nelson County.
I was thinking about that, just that one project has to be consuming a ton of the contractor resources in the community.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Well, they have had good weather to work,
Yeah,
to
sure.
continue to work.
So, what Jeff said.
All right, anything further? Thank you. Dave, anything else? All right, if there's nothing else, then we'll be adjourned until February 21st. I do know, I'm pretty sure we have a small one that's on the calendar for that, just some language changes. I'm not sure if there's anything else. So, all right, thanks, everyone.
Roger, JT, glad you guys